What the hell is going on? The New York Knicks are out here looking like the 2015 Golden State Warriors with their dominance. But the scary thing is, according to reports, they could be adding one more superstar to the mix. Stick around, because this is insane. If you want to know why the Knicks have been so good, look no further than Jalen Brunson, averaging 27 points, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists per game while shooting over 40% from the three-point line. He may be the best point guard in the Eastern Conference, even over Trae Young, Damian Lillard, and Tyrese Halliburton. He's been that good. He's the perfect modern-day point guard. There isn't anyone like him. The reason he's so unique is because of his style of play. He falls under that category as someone who is a winner, and that was the category he was in during his college days. He was undersized, wasn't a great defender, nor did he have elite athleticism, but somehow this sub-6-foot guard was consistently making winning plays for himself and others. And this has a lot to do with his dad, Rick. You see, like I just mentioned, Brunson didn't have any jump-off-of-your-screen talent in college, but being the son of an NBA player has its perks. You can tell he has an incredible feel for the game. His IQ is levels above the majority of his competition. He always seems in control, and he never looks like a deer in headlights out there on the court. It's hard to explain in words, but for the true hoopers out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He just knows how to play basketball. In today's NBA, you must have an elite point guard to succeed and compete for a championship. It doesn't matter what year you go to, every championship team has an elite point guard, or at the very least, an elite point forward/facilitator. Last season, the Nuggets had Jamal Murray, and well, we all saw what he did to the Lakers. And then the Miami Heat in 2022, the Warriors had some guy named Steph Curry. I don't know, he sounds decent to me. In 2021, the Bucks had Drew Holiday, whose generational defensive ability alone makes him elite. 2020, you had LeBron. In 2019, you had Fred VanVleet and Kyle Lowry, and the list goes on. And outside of Steph, Jalen Brunson has been better than all of those guys with the way he's been playing. His tough-nosed mentality and leadership are why his teammates and the fans so respect him. Again, you can tell he's a winner. He's exactly what the Knicks needed to turn this franchise around after suffering heartbreak after heartbreak over the years. And that three-point shooting makes him so dangerous. Everyone is so worried about him getting inside the lane that they forget he can pull up with the best of them, though it's the mid-range and the post area where he's most lethal. I can safely say he is the master in playing off of 2 feet. It's a very solid way to play, but it's almost rare to see players do it, especially at the guard position, and especially when you're under 6'1". It's such a good way to play though because it has so many benefits, and if you're crafty and skilled enough, it's almost impossible to stop. Let me briefly explain. Let's say you're guarding someone, and then they drive inside and jump stop, landing on 2 feet. They now can legally choose which foot is their pivot foot. They can spin over either shoulder for a fadeaway. They can fake a fadeaway, then go into an up and under. They can pump fake and get you into the air before drawing the foul, or they can pass it out. As I said, being skilled and crafty makes it 10 times harder to guard. However, it isn't just Brunson who has been ultra impressive. Julius Randle has been in his bag as well, although he is dealing with a dislocated shoulder right now. He will be back this season, and it's reported that he's already rehabbing. The All-Star gives me mixed feelings though, because I'm just never sure how his playstyle will work in the playoffs. But now that he's had a full year to play with Brunson, I think he's learning how to be more effective off the ball and off of Brunson as the second option. He's averaging 24, 9, and 5, shooting 47% for the field, which is impressive given he's taking more fadeaways and twos this season, increasing his arsenal. I've always loved his playmaking and rebounding, so watch out when these two skills translate to the postseason. But the third piece on this roster that has taken this team to another level is OG Anunoby. OG has been the perfect player in this system. He hasn't been shooting the ball great as of late, but he's still managing to put up points in other ways, such as cutting, getting buckets in transition, or driving inside. However, defensively, he has been incredible. Over the past 7 games, the man is averaging 2.5 steals and nearly 1.5 blocks per game. Like, what? That is prime Kawhi Leonard stuff right there. This elite defense is what puts them over the top of most teams. Notice I didn't say all teams, and that's because while this new Knicks Big Three is one of the best in the NBA, it's still difficult to put them over a team like Boston or Milwaukee in a series, especially Boston. The Celtics are as stacked as the Celtics have ever been, since maybe the Kevin Garnett, Rondo, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce bunch. But even when comparing them to that team, they are way more stacked in terms of depth. A team of Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, Al Horford, and Peyton Pritchard is is a cheat code on both ends of the floor. And unless you're the Nuggets or the Clippers, no team in the NBA has a chance to beat them in a series. But if the Knicks were able to pull off this one move, that could all change. The Miami Heat were in the NBA Finals last season. However, this season isn't looking too promising, and that leaves many wondering whether or not this star's time in Miami is coming to an end when it comes to betting odds. The Knicks are favored to land Jimmy Buckets if he was to be traded. However, it may not be very likely. The Heat recently traded for Terry Rozier, which shows that they are still in win-now mode and are trying to flesh out their roster. But who knows? The NBA has been full of surprises this season. Plus, the Heat just aren't a championship team. Sure, they might scratch and claw their way up there again like last season unexpectedly, but they aren't a team that any other legit contending team fears. Even Michael Porter Jr. said on his podcast that he thought he and the Nuggets were going to be playing the Celtics. And when it turned out that they were meeting the Heat in the finals, he and the Nuggets knew for sure that they were going to win. He then even went out of his way to say that the Celtics would have been a better matchup. That alone goes to show you that the Heat are not considered a championship team. Terry Rozier is a nice player, but I don't think even he can put them over the top. They would need someone like Donovan Mitchell or get either Mikal Bridges or DeMar DeRozan. And even then, their championship chances wouldn't increase by a significant amount. So that could be a reason why Jimmy could potentially want out. But what would a trade between the Knicks and the Heat even look like? The Knicks could send Evan Fournier, Quentin Grimes, Josh Hart, and Isaiah Hartenstein, along with 4 future first-round picks to reel in Butler. That would be a good deal for the Miami Heat. Josh Hart and Quentin Grimes would be perfect to put with Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. They fit the culture. And for the Knicks, this team would now have the firepower to compete with the Boston Celtics and Denver Nuggets. Could you just imagine a lineup of Jalen Brunson, OG, Jimmy Buckets, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson once he returns? This would be a tough unit to deal with on both ends of the floor. And despite Butler dealing with an injury for a nice portion of the season, he's still averaging 21, 5, and 4, while still being one of the better defensive players in the league. Their defense would be their calling card, even more than it is now. But on offense, the trio of Brunson, Julius, and Butler would be hard to stop on the interior. Again, though, these are just betting odds. It may or may not happen, but it's still a fun idea to play with. If I were the Knicks, I would be in the market for a scorer. Jordan Clarkson would be phenomenal for this team. He's averaging 17, 3, and 5 while shooting 42% from the field and 30% from 3. He would excel in an off-the-bench role for New York. With the addition of OG, I think it's safe to say that the defense is set. So that's why I feel they would be comfortable moving Grimes. Adding someone like Clarkson, who can get a bucket, would be huge. Bogdanovich from Detroit would be a great option as well, and so could Seth Curry. Still, I'd like you guys to let me know who you think could be the Knicks' final piece. Is it Jimmy Butler or possibly Jordan Clarkson or someone else? Who could make them official title contenders? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.